What does a chicken sandwich, rap music, and the Southern Baptist Convention president have in common? I don't know, but let's talk about it. Season 4, Episode 14. Let's get after it. Welcome to a new episode of Gospel Literary Gimmicks. I'm your host, Bridger Storm Norman, here to tell you everything I know and some things I highly suspect. Today, some things have been happening in the news you may or may not have heard about them, and I thought we should talk about them. Do like a news roundup type. Actually, I had two stories. If you saw the Instagram post, I had Chick Fil A and Kanye. That was the name. That's still going to be the name of the episode. But I found a third story. It's a short one, so I decided we'd toss it in there at the end about the Southern Baptist president. Ridiculous. Anyway, some things have been happening in the news. Did Chick Fil A sell out to the LGBT Nazis? I don't know. We're going to talk about it. Why did Kanye West go to Joel Osteen's church? We'll talk about that. And then, like I mentioned, plus further evidence that makes me glad I'm an independent Baptist. Amen to that. Before we get into that, how are y'all doing? Y'all doing alright out there? I know some parts of, it's been getting chilly here, but I know some parts where y'all live probably got like snow and stuff. I don't want nothing to do with snow. Y'all keep the snow up there. And I know like, we're dealing with cold and whatnot, and I know Gypsy Lane, she's dealing with the opposite problem, hot. But we'll get our turn. I know we will. Some new habits of being married. You know, I used to always talk about, I've mentioned it on the podcast before, how there's people who get up early in the morning and read their Bible and do their praying. And I was like, man, I envy those people because I wish I could be that kind of person that gets up early in the morning, spends a little bit of time with God. And I was like, I just can't do it because I'm not getting up that early. I'm not a morning person. I don't want to get up that early. I just can't do it. But now I can because I'm married, and she gets up on the day she has to work. She gets up before I do, so obviously she's going to be making a bunch of racket. So I'm just going to go ahead and get up too. So I just go ahead and get up out of bed, and she leaves about 5:45 or 10 to 6 in the morning, and I usually leave at 10 after 6. So that gives me like a good 20 minutes of reading my Bible and doing some praying. And so far, I kind of dig it. One of those habits I always wanted to have, and now I got it. So Wednesday, I'm recording this on a Saturday, and they're supposed to come hook my internet up Wednesday, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because I'm finally going to have internet, and I really need internet pretty bad. I'm way behind in my schoolwork, and I got a paper due on November 30th. So the internet might actually help me get that done, but it ain't looking good, I'll tell you that. But I'm gonna try my best, see what happens. I got a new Bible. Oh, I got the box for it. Well, anyway, it's the Thomas Nelson Preaching Bible in calfskin brown. And shout out to Bible Believing Christian, because she did a video about this Bible and how she found a deal on it, or someone told her about a deal on it on Amazon. It was like $40 for this thing, which is like normally like $100 Bible. So I jumped on it and bought it. It feels good, man. That calf skin. It's not as nice as the goat skin, obviously, but it's really close. And I've been enjoying it. I was reading, doing my like I was just talking about, my waking up in the morning. I've been reading through the book of Proverbs in the morning, and I was using my my local church thin line. We're doing my reading in the morning. But then I got this one and I started using this one. This thing's so easy to read. I like it. I dig it. But that's the new Bible I got today. I want to do a Bible giveaway. How many episodes? I don't know if y'all can read the board. I don't even know if y'all can see it. I guess you can't. But I'm trying to position this camera in a way that makes any sense whatsoever. But anyway, on the board back here, the season finale is December 2nd. That'll be the last episode of season 4. Then we'll take December off for the holidays. And we'll be back in January for season number 5. I wanted to close out the season with a Bible giveaway, but I can't really find them. I got Bibles, set aside to give away. But I don't know. I think they're down there in that crate. In fact, let me just go see if I can find one. Okay, so I found the Bible we can give away. I've been wanting to give this one away for a while, but it was on the shelf and kind of forgot about it. So this is what we're going to give away for the season finale Bible giveaway. This is the Holman Ministers. Let's see the official title of it here. Ministers Pocket Bible, King James Edition. I wrote the date of when I got it in the beginning here. June 21st, 2017. I can't believe I've had it that long. 2 years, over 2 years, 2.5 years. Anyway, it's a little, obviously, it's a little compact Bible for the ministers. It's got, I want to say, yeah, it's got some ministry helps in the middle. Funeral preparation, wedding ceremony things, like any other minister's Bible would have in the middle of it. And it's small font, obviously, because it's a small little pocket Bible. But it's genuine leather, so the cover is really nice, and it's really flexible for the most part, But yeah, it's got one red ribbon. It's got red stitching around the perimeter. I know y'all can't see that on the camera very well. And I have the box for it, so I can send it to you in the box if you win it. But it's Christmas time. So, I know I did write in it right there at the beginning, but I believe that's the only writing that's in it. Well, there's the highlighted verse, so I stand corrected. So it does have a little bit of writing, but not much. As far as I know, that one highlighted verse in Psalm, that's probably about it. And it's very light highlighter, so. Anyway, if you want to win this Bible, for the Bible giveaway, you might know somebody that needs a Bible. And this would be a good option. So if you want to win it, comment in the comments that you would like to win it. And we will pick next week. Is next week the last episode I'm recording? Yes. So next week I'll be recording the season finale. And we'll pick a winner at that time. Let me move over here. Gotta make sure I'm in front of this microphone. Not getting away from it. Anyway, you want to win it? Comment below that you want to win it. We'll enter you to win it. And everything will be fantastic. With that being said, let's go ahead and check out these news stories, shall we? So let's start off with Chick Fil A. Goodness gracious, what a firestorm. All kinds of people out there talking about Chick Fil A and what they have done or not done. So I want to look at it, I kind of want to look at it from both sides a little bit. And I actually have an article we're going to read once I pull it up because I totally forgot. Now this article is from Relevant magazine, which I'm not a huge fan of, but there's a bunch of articles out there that say all kinds of different things or whatnot. But we're going to go with this one. I'm going to read it. But there's two types of Christians out there. There's one type that's falling all over themselves to make excuses for Chick Fil A. Like, oh no, see, you don't understand. You know how Christians do, especially evangelical Christians. They're like, as soon as their favorite thing gets attacked, they're like, oh no, wait, no, you know. Like when Lauren Daigle said that thing, and she said, like, oh well, you don't understand because I love Lauren Daigle and I don't want you to think bad or whatnot. That's just how modern Christians are. They don't want to accept the fact that something they like could be wrong. But that's one type of Christians, falling over themselves to make excuses for Chick Fil A and whatnot. And then there's the other type that are quick to, they caved, they finally gave in. Chick Fil A, apostasy, wicked evil, boycott now, whatever. You know, I don't want to fall into either one of them camps. Like we always say, the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. So let's look at this article. It's not very long, I don't think. On Monday, red sirens went out across the internet when it was reported that America's favorite dispenser of fried chicken, Chick Fil A, would no longer be donating money to the Salvation Army or the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Those two groups, who've raked in millions of Chick Fil A over the years, have internal policies that rankled members of the LGBT community and their allies. Activists have long called for Chick Fil A to donate money elsewhere, while others have praised the fast food chain for sticking to its guns. The latter felt betrayed and weren't shy about saying so. Then it says something about Mike Huckabee, which we'll skip over. We'll skip over that. These are just people's opinions that they're posting. Awfully strong words for a move that once you get past the headlines doesn't seem like nearly as big of a shift as it's being made out to be. The organization itself denies any such accusations of caving and insists that faith-based charities aren't being excluded from donations. As Chick Fil A President and Chief Operating Officer Tim Tassopoulos told BizNow, the company had initiated multi-year charitable giving contracts with the FCA and Salvation Army a number of years ago. Those contracts expired this year, meaning Chick Fil A was not contractually obligated to donate money to either organization for the first time in years. Chick Fil A used this opportunity to restructure their charitable giving model, instead focusing on local nonprofits and individual communities, moving away from multi-year commitments. Starting next year, Chick Fil A intends to donate $9 million to Junior Achievement USA, which supports local education, and Covenant House International, to combat homelessness. In addition, Chick Fil A will donate $25,000 to a local food bank every time it opens a new location. This provides more focus and more clarity, Tassopoulos said. We think education, hunger, and homelessness are critical issues in communities where we do business in the U.S. Tassopoulos said, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Tassopoulos said charitable grants will be reviewed annually, and both faith-based and non-faith-based organizations will be considered for such giving. It's just the right thing to do, Tassopoulos said, to be clear, caring, and supportive and do it in the community. It's definitely possible that Chick Fil A chose to shift its donation in part because of pressure from LGBT groups and their allies, but money is still flowing to causes and potentially being channeled even more effectively at the local level. As long as that's the case, cries of betrayal seem a bit unfounded. So it sounds like Chick Fil A is still going to be doing what Christians ought to do. I think some Christians are maybe overlooking. Like, you shouldn't, if you're going to donate money to a charity, you shouldn't look for certain things. Like, oh, they do this, so I can't donate to that charity. They're still doing good things. So I think that's kind of getting lost in the shuffle. It's not like Chick Fil A saying we're not donating to charity anymore. They still are. They're still doing what a good Christian business ought to do, which is donate to charity. Faith-based charities are still going to be eligible to receive donations. Maybe, I guess. Didn't really Didn't really say that in the article. Something tells me that faith-based charities are still going to be eligible to receive donations, but we'll have to keep an eye on that in the future, because I'm curious how that's going to work out. They have restructured their giving in a more organized way that's better for business and benefits charities where they operate, like the Chick Fil A up the street from me here, which is not really up the street. It's a little further than I'd like it to be, but that Chick Fil A will be benefiting charities in my area, be donating to charities in my area. So that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Now let's look at the however. However, let's look at some odd coincidences. Let me get my thing back up here. Got to see my sound levels. Got to make sure I'm staying on this mic. We know Chick Fil A recently had to close a store in London shortly after it opened because of protests from the gay Nazis, the LGBT Nazis. We know that happened. Now, I brought that up in a group, in a comment, and someone was like, well, yeah, but this restructuring has been in the works for like over a year. It's been over a year they've been coming up with this. So that's the claim has been made. But there's been previous incidents where Chick Fil A couldn't open a store where they wanted to because the LGBT shut them down. Because there was an airport, was it San Antonio? They were going to open up a store in the San Antonio airport, and they got banned, kicked, no, you can't open a store here because the LGBT people protested them. And that's been the case. We might not have heard about it, but it's been the case in several other places, like New York and maybe some places in California, where they could, not that their store got shut down, but they weren't allowed to build a store because city council got together and said, no, you're anti-LGBT, we don't want you here, blah, blah, blah. So let's not ignore the fact that this is an ongoing thing with Chick Fil A, that they've been shut down by the LGBT Nazis before. Also, they say they want to focus more on hunger and homelessness. Well, who does that better than the Salvation Army? Isn't that what they do? I thought that's what they do. The statement I read on the Chick Fil A Foundation's website mentioned being a, quote, good corporate neighbor, end quote. What does that even mean? Like, to me, when I read that, I'm like, I think of it like they want to be a good corporate neighbor, as in, well, all the other corporations are accepting of pro-LGBT type things, and we're not, so we're not being a good, you know what I'm saying? That's just the idea I got. So I've heard all kinds of accusations like Chick Fil A caved on the marriage issue. They don't support biblical marriage anymore. I don't think that at all. I don't think Chick Fil A is like, okay, we'll promote gay marriage, or I don't think that at all. What I think, now let me tell you a story. Back in the day, y'all know I got saved when I was like 17, almost 18. So, for the majority of my 20s, y'all know, y'all heard my testimony. I didn't live for God. I wasn't close to God. But I would tell people, well, I'm a Christian, but I don't talk about it. I don't talk about it because I know it's a touchy subject. And that is not how a Christian should be. If that's how you are, you need to reevaluate some things. Because I realize that is not how a Christian should be. You're not saved to be a secret Christian. Well, I'm a Christian, but I don't talk about it. If you want to talk about it, just ask me, but I'm not going to bring it up. That is not how a Christian is supposed to be, which I realized. But that's how I was back in the day. And I feel like that's kind of the route Chick Fil A is kind of trying to take here. Like, when it says, okay, the Salvation Army and Fellowship of Christian Athletes, I don't think they're anti-LGBT. I mean, pretty sure Salvation Army's not. I don't know about FCA. But I think they believe in traditional marriage. I think that's the problem. So maybe Chick Fil A is like, well, we're going to donate to these charities that have not condemned, gay marriage. They've not promoted a biblical marriage standpoint like we have. And so I don't think Chick Fil A has said we're not going to support biblical marriage anymore. I think they're going to be like, we support biblical marriage, but let's not tell nobody. We're just not going to be vocal. We're going to kind of try, push it over here in the corner, so nobody really pays attention to it. So I think that's what it is. I think, to be honest with you, Chick Fil A just wants to have their cake and eat it too. They still want to appease the Christian base of their customer base, but at the same time they want to be able to open restaurants in these different cities that have told them no. But I'm still going to eat there, so I think boycotts are kind of stupid, because everybody's always like, every time a business does something like this, they're like, well, I ain't shopping there no more, and this and that. But really, if you had any idea the products you probably have in your kitchen right now that support these LGBT or abortion or support all these ungodly things, your kitchen, your whole house is probably full of products from companies that support that kind of thing. And you probably just don't even know it. Like, I'll tell you right now, Mountain Dew, made by Pepsi. Pepsi supports all kinds of, things I don't agree with. But, you can't really get away with it. Get away from it. I mean, you can try if you want to, but heck, the phone in your pocket. Apple, I know, is a big donator to causes that are wicked. So that's why I don't like the whole boycott thing. It's just stupid. It don't really do nothing. If you personally have a personal conviction and say, I'm not going to go there, that's fine. I'm okay. You decide for yourself what you're going to do. But I'm never going to be telling everybody, you shouldn't shop there and this and that, like everybody was doing with the NFL. You shouldn't be, people, I would post something about the NFL and people just comment, oh, you shouldn't be watching that. They kneel for the flag. Whatever, dude. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. Don't watch it. Whatever. That's a whole different video. Anyway, so that's Chick Fil A story, which I thought Matthew 6:24. I don't want to get out of here, go through this whole video without giving y'all some scripture. Matthew 6:24. Y'all know the verse, but we'll read it. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. You can't serve God and money, bud. You can't try and appease. You can't try and stay, a Christian business and still try to appease the world. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, Kanye West goes to Lakewood Church. You know where Lakewood Church is? Well, it's in Texas. And it's pastored, quotations, pastored by one Joel Osteen. Perhaps you've heard of him. Perhaps I may have mentioned him before on the podcast. But here's what happened. Somebody discerned, which is y'all know the Babylon Bee was started by a guy named Adam Ford. He sold it. He sold it to I'm sure y'all know Babylon Bee because we all laugh at their stuff all day long. He sold it to a guy, and then him and this guy who he sold it to got together and started a news website, or whatever you want to call it. I guess you call it a website. Anyway, it's news. It's called Discern, DISRN. And I'm sorry, my nose itches. So I started following that on Facebook, and their goal is to get you the news, just the news, not a whole super long, a short little article, and just That's it. They're not trying to give you no opinion pieces, no whatever. They just give you a short little boom. Here's a paragraph of this story and whatnot. Because they don't understand. You got things to do. You ain't got time to be reading a big old long article. Anyway, I have some beef with them about some things they do, but for the most part, Discern's pretty good. We're always looking for a place to get news that ain't ridiculous and biased. But anyway, Discern posted a video. It was the whole 20-minute clip of Kanye's appearance at Joel Osteen's church. So I took one for the team and I watched it for you, so you ain't got to watch it. I watched it for you and I wrote down some points in here about it. So we're going to talk about it. Won't take long. And yeah, I took one for the team. It's the first time I've ever watched this much Joel Osteen. I mean, it kind of was Kanye, not Joel Osteen, but he was up there standing next to him on stage. The crowd was awful. Let me tell you. If you wanted to see a Laodicean church crowd, that was the picture of one. Because he introduced Kanye and they're like, cheering and stuff. And you gotta remember, there's like, 40,000 people in this building or something? It's like a football stadium is basically what it is if you ain't ever seen it. So, all these people are cheering, and then Kanye would say something like, this is just the introductory part. And Kanye would say something, the crowd would go wild, and then he'd say like another 2 words, and they'd be like, I'm like, y'all need to calm down. This is the problem with the Laodicean church, is that y'all go to church for entertainment. Like, the man is up there, supposedly, for the sole purpose of giving you his testimony and talking about, these things. So, I don't know, when I'm in church and my pastor's up there and he's preaching and he makes a point, he might get an amen, but he don't get us all giving up, standing ovation and screaming. You don't do that. Church is not for your entertainment. Anyway, I don't know how I got off on that. He talked about other Christians when he was, recovering from drug addiction or whatever it was. Other Christians in the industry, people around him, being too afraid to share the gospel with him because of his fame. I thought that was pretty interesting, as I could see that being a thing. If you know somebody as famous as Kanye, like, not me personally, not you, but I'm talking about people over there, California, people in liberal areas, you might be afraid to share the gospel with somebody famous, like, oh, I don't want to ruin the relationship I have with them, if that's the case. I don't know. I'm getting away from the microphone again. He compared strip clubs to sex trafficking. I thought that was pretty on point. He's like, because when you go to a strip club at the end of the night, the owner of the strip club asks the girls, how much traffic do we have? People come in there for the soul. They necessarily don't have sex, but they come in there with the whole sex on the mind. The whole purpose is sex. So he compared strip clubs to sex trafficking. He says God took all that cockiness he had and is using it for his glory. For God's glory, not his. But at the same time, about 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes after he said this, and we'll get to that in a minute, says people who are famous have the idea that Satan is as powerful as God. He said that's the problem. People think Satan and God are on the same level, but the only way you can have fame and fortune is to follow Satan, because you don't get that from following God. He said that's the mentality of people that are famous. Then this is what he said. The greatest artist God ever created is now working for him. So after he just said that God took all that cockiness and used it for God's own glory, now he says he's the greatest artist God ever created and he's now working for God. So says rappers trying to be cool talk about hooking up with someone's daughter when they have daughters themselves. I thought that was a valid point as well. So then Joel Osteen played a clip from one of Kanye's songs off his new album, and said what a great thing. I had to write this down because it was great. You said more in 60 seconds than I say in my 30-minute message. I was like, you have no idea, Joel. You have no idea. I could say more in 2 minutes than you said in your entire preaching career. Then Kanye was talking about the Sunday service thing that he started, and when it got started and they were just on Sunday listening to gospel music and whatnot, or whatever it is they did. I don't really have a clue, but he said somebody told him, he's like, you can have all this good music and all this stuff, but you gotta say the name Jesus. Like, if you don't say the name Jesus, none of that stuff matters. And I was like, that's a great point. But I like to take it a step further. As I was listening to Brother Danny Castle one time, and he was preaching a sermon on, will the real Jesus please stand up? He's like, because there's all these different Jesuses that people have made. So when you say Jesus, like at a football game, when someone says, I want to thank Jesus, he's like, tell me who Jesus is when you say that. Jesus Christ. The Lord Jesus Christ. So I know what Jesus you're talking about, because it could be any Jesus. But like it says here, you gotta have, how many contemporary worship songs and whatnot, you can go through the whole song and not hear the name Jesus one time. Like, by the time you get to the end of the song, people don't read the lyrics, so they don't know. They just like to sing along. But when you get to the end of the song, you look back at the lyrics and you're like, who's this song talking about? If you don't say the name Jesus in the song, who's the song talking about? Like I've said many a times, you can take a contemporary worship song, you can put it on pop radio and call it a love song. People would be playing it for their girlfriends and whatnot, because there's no real big difference. Here's another quote from him. People don't want to believe the Bible because they don't want to admit that they are profiting off their sin. That was a good one too. And then he was talking about how we take prayer out of school. He said, when you remove the fear and love of God, which I like the fact that he put fear in there. When you remove the fear and love of God, you replace it with the fear and love of everything else. So he said a lot of good things. And I was watching it. It's only a 20-minute clip if you want to go find it. And I was watching, like, this is most of what he's saying, pretty good stuff. I was like, why is he at Joel Osteen's church saying it? I was like, is it because some people have said he's a new Christian? He don't know no better. He needs to get himself around some Christians who know some things and whatnot, and teach him some things. But then at the end of the video, he started defending Joel Osteen, saying he's one of the most influential Christian voices in the culture today. And he started talking about God is love, God is this, and he said God is prosperity. And so I don't know, man. Like I'm going to maintain what I've said before. Is Kanye West saved? I have no idea. I have no idea, because I don't know the heart of anyone. I don't know anybody's heart. Only God does. Only they know. I'm saying he's doing some things that make him look like he's saved. So, I mean, more than most celebrities would do, right? Christians love them celebrities, don't they? But he's doing some good things. He's doing some not so good things. Is he saved? I don't know. Like I said, we'll wait and see what happens. I think he's doing more good things than he is bad. But we shall stay tuned. We'll probably have to look more at that. I mean, why does people care so much? Like, people love it when they find out a celebrity, because I see the people sharing the articles all the time on Facebook. Mario Lopez was the last one I saw. It was like a year-old article. Someone shared, Mario Lopez accepted Christ and got married, and I'm like, or got baptized, and I'm like, So what? But God, I don't understand. Christians just, they want that celebrity to turn to Christ, and then whenever they find out, oh, well, it wasn't real. They didn't really turn to Christ. Or they, got mixed in with some people with messed up doctrine like Justin Bieber did. They get all disappointed. I'm like, why? Why? I don't know why everybody thinks we need to have celebrity Christians. Oh, they have such an audience. Well, build you an audience. I don't know. But whether or not he's saved, time will tell, I guess. We'll find out if we see him in heaven. So next article, this is a short one. We're already at 40 minutes. Probably 30 if I edit. This is a really short one. Southern Baptist president says he prefers to call transgender people by their chosen pronouns. Calling it pronoun hospitality, Southern Baptist Convention President J.D. Greer revealed on an Ask Me Anything episode of his podcast that he prefers to call transgender people by their preferred pronouns. Greer said that while there is room for disagreement and Christians should disagree charitably, he sees it as a hospitable courtesy to refer to transgender people by their chosen pronouns, despite knowing that their sex does not match their descriptor. There is a spectrum of this is him talking. There is a spectrum of generosity of spirit versus telling truth. Greer wrote in his podcast description, I tend toward generosity of spirit. So, here's my question. Should Christians choose to be nice to those lost and confused over telling them the truth? Because that's what it sounds like there when he's saying, I choose generosity of spirit over... Calm down. He chooses generosity of spirit over telling the truth. I mean, I don't even need to even go any further than this. I'm pretty sure y'all can see where I'm going. Should we lie to these people? We meet a woman and she's like, oh, I'm a him. So you're like, well, I want to be nice to him, so I'm going to call him a him. No. I don't know. I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me. The Bible doesn't seem to suggest that we ought to lie to people rather than tell them the truth. And when you call somebody a him when it's not a him, or a her when it's not a her, you're lying to them. I mean, they're lying to themselves, and you're playing along with the lie. Ephesians 4:25. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. The Bible would sure look a lot different if Jesus told the Pharisees they were right in order to avoid confrontation. Go to John. John 8:44. What does Jesus tell the Pharisees? Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and the father of it. Well, it doesn't sound like Jesus wanted to, have a generosity of spirit with the Pharisees. He told them the truth. He told them what like it was. You should never be nasty with anyone. I'm not saying you should. Someone comes up to you and says, hey, I go by he, him, and it's clearly a woman. You don't be nasty with them, but you don't lie to them either. Don't feed their lies. They're already living a lie. They don't need you to help feed it. Ephesians 4:15. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Jesus, even Christ. Speaking the truth in love. You can. I know this is a hard thing. I've wrinkled my page. Dang it. That's a hard thing to figure out. But there, you can tell someone the truth without being nasty about it. Proverbs 12:22. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are His delight. So, no one is going to believe the gospel with a, what do you call it? Spirit of, what do you call it? Generosity? Spirit of generosity, or generosity of spirit? People hear the truth. People believe the gospel when you tell them the truth. You know? You don't go, so I'm going to share the gospel with this person. You go up to it, and they tell you, you say, you know, have you ever accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior? Are you going to heaven when you die? And they go like, yeah, I'm a pretty good person. Oh yeah, okay, well you're a pretty good person then. Have a good day. That's not how this works. You got to be truthful with people. If you're not going to be truthful with them all the time, man, that's not good. That's not a good testimony for God. But that's all I'm saying. You don't lie to people that are lost. They need the truth. They need to hear the truth. That's going to do it for today's episode. Not action packed. Packed with news and information, I guess. For everything you need to know about the podcast, including me, social media, where to find it, the latest video, visit the website at stormernorman27.wixsite.com/gospel-gimmicks. We're going to shorten that over the December break. I'm going to take care of that. Maybe I'll have some more time then, and we'll take care of that, because I am tired of saying that big old long address. But you know, they have sales. That's part of the reason I ain't done it yet. They have these sales every now and then where they'll, you know, give you a 1-year membership thing for like X amount of money, % off. And they had one a couple weeks ago, but I didn't have the money, or I didn't think about it at the time. So I'm kind of waiting on doing. They should do one for like Black Friday maybe. So I don't know. Kind of waiting on that sale again. That'd be nice. If you'd like to support the podcast with a donation, you can go to patreon.com/gospel-gimmicks and become a patron. Help me pay for that new website. Our patrons are Roger Waters, Leanna Williams, and Rusty Williams. Appreciate all of y'all for your help. If you want to subscribe to the audio portion of the podcast, it can be found at Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. So I appreciate y'all for watching. I know the camera is crooked. We're still working things out, because I was using the lapel mic like I was using. But I thought I'd try the shotgun mic out today and see if it worked any better. But I don't know. Like I said, we're going to play around with it a little bit until I get it to where I like it. So I know the screen's crooked. It's driving me crazy, I guarantee you. It's driving me crazy. But thank y'all for listening to the podcast today, or if you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, rate, whatever it is, whatever option there is available for wherever you're consuming the podcast. That would be a help. So till next week for the season finale, take up your cross, carry on. I wandered so aimless, life filled with sin. I wouldn't let my dear Savior in. Then like a blind man, God gave back his sight. Praise the Lord, I saw the light.